Hello, this is Mrs. Orendorf. Today I'm going to teach you just basic skills on how to work with color pencils. This tutorial is mainly targeted for elementary students, but other people can follow along if they choose to. The children decided to draw a background for their castle and their dragon, and the main focal point of this image is going to be the dragon, of course, made with their handprint. Now, the background, we've talked many times about how to color with color pencils properly. It's very common when kids are handed a piece of paper and they try to color as fast as they can, and they go super fast or they go really hard, and then you're cutting into your paper. You do not want to do that. Now, this technique is a little bit softer and it's done with little swirls, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. So, get your paper and something to color on. I have just a little piece of chipboard there to color on top, just for support. You never know what kind of little debris or leftover pencil shavings or eraser shavings on the table you have. Just make sure that the area under your paper is clean so that when you color on top, you are not getting any bumps. Okay, I'm going to begin this color pencil tutorial with two color pencils. This is light cerulean blue and this one is true blue. For blending, I'm going to use just a regular white, although Prismacolor and other color pencil brands, they have different blending tools. So this technique is called Scumbling, and this is how you spell it. Basically, it's the way of coloring. Let's say you have a sphere. You want to color in tiny little swirls, applying medium pressure, depending on how dark you want the area to be. Let's say you have this sphere and you want it to be super dark, then you don't want to color super hard, because I tell my kids, my students, with color pencil, paint, if you make something super dark and you want to rewind your process and say, oh no, I needed that to be lighter, you can't. There is no way of erasing colored pencil or paint. So if you start really dark, some kids color and they color either sideways or they color upside down. You have all these little gaps and possibly cutting little lines that you can't really see into your paper. So when you go lighter, it's filling in the area, but it's not really blending in the color. And this is just one color. This is too dark. This would be, if you left it like that, it would be a little too light. So you want to play it up. So we always have to identify where is the light coming from. So if you have a spotlight or the sun is coming this way, so your highlight will be here and your shadow would be here. I hope this makes sense. So you would leave this area lighter and then start working your way very lightly around that highlight. Okay, this is just a simple way to identify where is my light coming from, so that when you start coloring, you know where the shadows, etc., on the other items need to go as well, because it's one united image. To go a little bit darker, the shadow will be over here. Highlight, shadow, always on the opposite ends. And you don't necessarily have to use gray or black to create a shadow. Sometimes you use a darker tone of that same color. So in this case, I could use a darker blue. Some people even use the complementary colors. So the opposite color of blue is orange. You could throw in a little bit of orange for your shadow and see what happens. So basically, here is how to create highlights and shadows on a little sphere. I'm starting to color with my little swirls. Basically all it is, I told my students, it's like, kind of feels like cotton candy, where you just make like little swirly clouds of color, little swirly clouds, and then they will start blending together. A lot of patience, so take your time and keep reminding yourself in your mind This is all worth it because it's gonna be gorgeous. It's gonna be a really pretty picture and I'm going to be so very proud of myself. I'll do a time lapse and then we will come back. You will use the white to blend a little more. If you have never used white color pencil, oh, it's like magic. This would be like the magic wand, because when you color in, you want to do the little swirls just a little bit harder, and it is, some people say burnishing or blending. It's when it blends everything together beautifully. Continue with your base tone. In my case, I'm using the light blue. When you are ready, add your second tone, which is used for a darker shadow effect. This is how far I am on my drawing. Keep coloring. I've added some gray with browns, and here I added just a little bit of shadow near the bottom. And now I'm going to show you just a little bit on how to add highlights. If you want highlights at the top of your hill, what I do is I do a little bit of yellow. Sometimes to soften it, you can even do a little bit of white. And this is reflecting the sunlight coming from your light source. You see that? Okay, we do a little bit here. And I'm just going in circular motions as well. If you want a little bit of shadow near the bottom, you can add a little bit of dark green. And then lastly, I'm gonna let you finish, take your time, do the beautiful job as you wish. Here is my finished example, and I like to show you just a little trick on blending. Some artists use different solvents to blend color pencil to soften it up, and one of the solvents could be rubbing alcohol. In this case, all I have here, guess what this is? Hand sanitizer. We've become experts at hand sanitizer. With a little Q-tip, I just rub on top of my color pencil very softly, and this is blending all the color pencil together, softening and smoothing all the areas. Again, I am rubbing in little circular motions. And this is just another way to make your color pencil blend just a little better. Soften and high craftsmanship. All right, thanks for watching.